Yes, it wants to be very slightly. See how it's very slightly angled that way? It's only a little bit, but it just makes a difference. You don't want to end up with a squash out point of it. So what you're going to do, make sure it sits in that back, and you need to sort of push on that very front lip there.
In there?
On top of it very slightly. That's it. Let me show you.
If you want to come back a bit, because it's more than
There's a trick to it. I'll show you.
oh, okay.
Well, you've got to hit it it's on that outer.
Okay, alright.
Like that. And then squeeze it in.
Needs to be a bit longer.
Then work your way. You've got to just make sure as you go in that it's staying in the back. That's why I try and keep it coiled up so it's pulling in and it doesn't end up doing that.
Well,
If it starts doing that, it won't go in at the back, so you got to make sure it's always round underneath. Like so. Just makes that big difference. And then when you get going, you just you just then you come back. Now you see how I'm doing a slightly that way motion. So it's compressing it in very slightly as you go.
alright.
But when you go, you don't want to press into that groove.
No.
Keep an eye on that. That's it. You don't want to press into that groove because it just sort of bends the rubber up. What you want to do is just press on the outside, hold your rubber.
Let's push it over, When is it right now?
And then when you get, say, I don't know, 16 inch,
Give it a good,
bedding in. Just be careful you don't hit yourself with the hammer. Because it does happen. And you can see it's seated in nice now.
Yeah. You see it going in from there now.
So there you go. Let's keep that in that position. Make sure it's sat in that groove. You need to be stopping about there now.
Well, here. So you stop a good 15 inch, 18 inch. You're talking 15 inch there, aren't you?
Yeah.
From the end.
And this is where you start to work out where you're going to be cutting.
Yeah.
So you need to be allowing over length. So bring the arm out of the way.
Run it up there.
Lock that position. You can sit that. Start to think about it a bit. Now we make it over length. So if I show you now.
Yeah. Is it about an inch?
Well, as much as you think you'll squeeze in. It's about an inch and a half even.
All right. So you it's from that position because you're going to lose some of that there, aren't you?
Yeah. So if you think
so.
bring that in line, so that's closer to your actual circumference, and then say it'll be about an inch and a half on there. You can try and get 2 inch on if you want, but you'd be lucky sometimes. So about an inch and a half.
So you might have to redo it again then. You're saying, you know, if you try too
much,
you
can't get it in. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world.
No.
I've had to cut slivers out before. It just.
Yeah. So that's inch and a half, that, isn't it?
Approximately, yeah. It's just a rack of iron.
And that's it. You're going to narrate it, or?
Nah, don't do narration. People can't see what you're showing. Now, what the trick is now, is keep that back a minute. They've got to get it from this end.
Right, get it in there.
So you get that first bit in. And you see how you got this big hump to work through now. So you squeeze this first bit in. It's hard work. Physically. Start pushing that back down into it, like so. And of course, it's always trying to push back out on the back, so you always got to
be aware
of what it's doing. So you can physically squeeze that in, bit at a time. Hold on, we won't be able to do it all at once. Have to